Hello, everyone. This is Greg Myers, the host of the Leaders in Payments podcast. And as many of you already know, the month of October is Financial Inclusion Month. We've got two great guests on the show today. They're going to talk about the products and services that they offer to help the unbanked and underbanked. So first, we've got Victor Lolas, the Director of Business Development for eCash USA for Paysafe, and Casey Leloux, the CEO of IntelliPay. So Victor and Casey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. So Victor, the first question is for you. Your product, Paysafecash, is an eCash or an online cash solution. So can you explain how Paysafecash supports financial inclusion for the unbanked and underbanked?
Sure. So the nature of Paysafecash and Paysafe eCash business unit as a whole is financial inclusion. Our main goal is to allow everyone to participate in the digital economy by bridging that gap between cash and online payments. And we do that by allowing cash users to check out online while completing the transaction offline. So I am a cash-heavy customer. I want to engage in an online transaction. Let's say I want to pay my bills online. I would just go to the website where I need to pay my bill, and I will see a online cash option in there. Once I hit that, I'll receive a barcode, which I can bring to any of our 60,000 payment locations and complete the transaction in cash. So from our perspective, consumers shouldn't really have to struggle or go out of their way to be able to pay online. And we as payment providers and we as Paysafe are aiming at getting closer to the customer and allow them to use their preferred payment method in the most convenient, safe, and cost-effective way possible. And that's really what Paysafe is doing, not only in the US, but we do it with eCash in over 50 countries and over 1 million payment locations. So we're really proud of that, and we are really looking for ways to continue bridging that gap and continue bringing the cash users to the digital world, because we think that once we allow them to try the digital economy, they will stay and they will continue engaging in online payments.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. So Casey, this one's for you. IntelliPay integrated Paysafecash in June, building on your longstanding payment processing relationship with Paysafe. So can you explain how the addition of Paysafecash was motivated by financial inclusion, especially given the industries that you play in, like government, utilities, healthcare, and a few others?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So IntelliPay is a payment processing platform. We deal a lot in the government sector, and we do some other verticals and whatnot, but I love working with Paysafe. So when they came to me and they told me about this new product, I really wanted to learn about it. When I learned that it gave customers the ability to make cash payments electronically, I was hooked. I really wanted to learn more. So we dove in and learned about the technology that Victor just described. I think the timing of this product couldn't be better. During the initial COVID restrictions, we actually had offices close, government offices, medical offices, whatever, where the people didn't want people to pay in person. And it was great for my online business. That was fantastic, but I really wondered how the unbanked people were able to make payments. And I guess that there was probably a lot of cashier's checks being sent in the mail. And this is clearly a way more efficient solution. And so as I was going through the verticals in my minds that I felt could use off the top of my head, I thought, well, okay, government, that makes sense, especially government that deals with courts, and fines, speeding tickets, stuff like that. Didn't see too much in property taxes, but the courts and fines area was definitely something that I felt would be a big hit. Then I looked at the medical side, and you had urgent care centers, ambulance companies, medical billing companies. When an ambulance picks up a patient off the side of the street, they can't really do a check on their benefits and what it's going to cover. And so a lot of them have to do the collecting on the back end, and they run into some collection issues with trying to collect money from people that only have cash. So I thought this would be a great solution for that. And then we have some property management accounts Some of them are government folks that offer low-income housing and work with the government in that, and others are dealing with mobile home and manufactured home communities that would have some low-income folks there. And I thought, man, these verticals are perfect for this financial inclusion and giving people the opportunity to make cash payments electronically.
Great, thanks for that. And this next question is for both of you, but Victor, I'm going to start with you. So to support financial inclusion now and in the short term, what should payment providers be doing better, and what can we do as an industry to improve the situation for the unbanked and the underbanked?
I think it's really important to listen to the consumer, right? To listen to the customer, understand what they want, understand what they need now more than ever. In the, I would say, the underbanked, unbanked demographic, there are plenty of reasons why a consumer might have to be or choose to be unbanked. But we need to pinpoint those reasons. We need to listen to them, get closer to the customer, and start building products that fit those needs. Most of the times, the answer is really straightforward. The consumers want convenience, simplicity, and privacy when they are engaging in an online transaction. I think we have all seen the explosion of the payments industry in the last 5 to 10 years. But not that long ago, online payments were restricted to those that only had the instruments to pay online. Today, the industry has gone completely mainstream, and merchants really can't survive without an online or digital payment component. So that's, I would say, like Casey was also saying, that has accelerated the adoption of online payments, but that has also increased or widened the gap between cash and online. And yes, I mean, COVID was a big reason. I think any online, any digital payments provider saw a big uptick in online volume through COVID. But as I just said, this also widened the gap. This also made the cash customer and those who really don't have the tools to pay online feel that they were left out. They were left out of the digital economy. They were left out of online payments. And like Casey was saying, there were the places where they normally go to make payments were closed. So what do they do now? Well, now we need to find out as an industry how to help them, right? I think we need to come up with innovative solutions with new payment methods that get closer to what a consumer needs. And yeah, that's really what we need to solve. I think how can we as an industry contribute to filling the gap between cash, online, between the underbanked and online payments, between the underbanked and banking in general. And again, I think innovation is going to be key here, and always putting the customer needs first in order to, in a way, organically attract them to the digital economy, organically attract them to try new payments and new banking solutions without the need of, I would say, government regulation or anything like that.
Okay, Casey, same question for you. What can we do as an industry to improve the lives of the unbanked and underbanked?
Yeah, I agree with Victor. I think a lot of us as payment processors have really been focused on the merchants and how can we save them money? How can we lower their fees? How can we do that? Because the typical sales process is to try and get that merchant by, hey, give me your last couple of months of statements and let me see if I can save you some money. And it's just driven the market down. In this scenario with financial inclusion, I think it's really important for us to start listening to the merchants and focusing on their customers and their needs. And so if you look at these specific verticals that financial inclusion can really help, we can win merchants and get new business by providing better service to their customers, which will ultimately help the merchants. And so by listening to the customer's needs, providing every opportunity for their customers to make payments, whether it's credit card, ACH, or an eCash solution, I think that's what is going to help this industry progress with financial inclusion. The more ways that we can allow their customers to make payment will only benefit them and help them accelerate their receivables.
Okay, so this is the final question, and Casey, it's for both of you. Casey, I'm going to start with you or stay with you. So looking even further ahead, say maybe over the next 5 or 10 years, what is the future of financial inclusion? I mean, do you think we'll ever get to the point where there's no unbanked or underbanked? And if we did, how would this even be achieved?
Yeah. Well, I think the first part of the question, the responsibility for payment providers is to try to include payment methods for all payers. Like I mentioned, for the past 5 years, we've been focused on wallets, EMV, PayFac or no PayFac, and all these other stuff that's been going on, and we forgot about the unbanked customers. I know myself dealing with merchants all the time, and the processors, they want real-time payments or speeding up the disbursements for the merchants with next-day funding, but overlooked that certain part of the population that has been underserved. And so I really think that as responsibility of payment providers, we need to enable them with all sorts of payment methods. If someone truly wants to be an omni-channel payment provider, they need to consider financial inclusion for the unbanked and underbanked. And if we look at is this going to be around in the future or not? I think, once the word gets out that there is an efficient, easy to use, integratable solution, the future of financial inclusion will experience strong growth. There's verticals that I've mentioned that will start to require it for their gateway and payment processors. They'll actually need it. If you want to answer an RFP or you want to be able to win somebody's business, not only are you going to have to say, yeah, I can come in and provide value, but I can also do a true omni-channel payment experience. And more verticals will catch on as they have the low income folks that may need help.
Okay, so Victor, same question for you. Looking ahead, say over the next 5 or 10 years, what does the future of financial inclusion look like? That's the first part. And then do you envision a time when the underbanked and unbanked completely goes away, and how would we get to that point?
I think in the next 5 to 10 years, and right now, actually, I think definitely payments and fintech will keep having a leading role in financial inclusion. I think this role, the importance of our industry in this area will continue to grow. But I would say actually today and in the next years, banking and finance are being completely redefined through innovative digital solutions. So we're definitely in a good position as an industry to continue in this journey, but we need to continue doing what we're doing today. I can mention the rise of digital banking, for example, and neobanks is it's a really good example. This is attracting customers from different demographics to become banked, or at least give it a try. Sometimes some neobanks or challenger banks, as they're also called, don't even ask for social security number. You could create a bank account with either your passport, your local ID, or without an ID. Just give it a try. Then if you wanna continue moving forward, we'll probably request some ID, some social security. But let's open the door for them to give a try to banking, to digital payments, and especially if the only thing you need is your phone, right? Where again, it comes to play how important it will be to continue driving mass adoption of smartphones, continue driving access to data for the most rural areas of the country. And with that, I think the percentage of unbanked or underbanked will start decreasing. It is key again, it's key to continue in this path of innovation, continue in this path of getting closer to the customer. But yeah, digital banking and neobanks, I would say, is just one example. Then you have DeFi or decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies, which are really breaking barriers all over the world. I was recently reading about El Salvador, for example, that 1 month ago they adopted Bitcoin as the national currency, and El Salvador is a country with 60 to 70% unbanked population, and in 1 month, 35%. They have 35% of the country as active users on their Bitcoin wallet. So that's close to 3 million people registering for the crypto wallet in 1 month. So that's unheard of. And I think crypto is also going to be key in the next 5 to 10 years, like you mentioned, in also breaking barriers, opening doors for the underbanked and for those that up to today were a bit worried about starting to engage in online payments. And finally, I think the role of biometrics is also going to start taking a key role in the adoption or in the journey of banking the unbanked, because a big chunk of the underbanked demographic decides to continue being underbanked because of security concerns. And that's, for example, at Paysafecash, something we promote, a product that is private, that is safe, and that doesn't share customer data, that doesn't put the customer at risk of identity fraud or anything like that. So in general, I think it will all depend on how we as an industry continue innovating, continue to create products that more than anything are solving real world problems. And I think financial exclusion is a big problem of our world today.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I think, just from my involvement and kind of trying to do with this special month dedicated to this is really raise the awareness of what companies like your companies are doing to help and really promote this as an awareness thing for the industry, because you said it, the payments and fintech space does a lot to help with financial inclusion. And the good news is in the US we've seen the numbers go down, but there's still a ways to go. And then when you look at it globally, it's even a bigger thing, right? So I think part of it is videos like this and podcasts that we're doing that can help raise the awareness so that when you're developing products, when you're going into new markets, you're thinking about this space. So I think that's part of my goal in bringing this up and having a full month dedicated to it. But Casey, Victor, I thank you both for being on today. I really appreciate it, and I know your time is valuable. So Casey, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Yeah. Sorry, I just had one more thing. I consider myself an optimist and would love to see a time when there's no unbanked or underbanked citizens, but I just don't think that's going to happen, because I'm seeing people that will fall on hard times, and it might not be a long-term hard time, but it might be a short-term hard time. And they can't put money in a bank account because there's either overdraft fees or withholdings or garnishments. So they may have to make a few payments in cash until they get their feet underneath them. So the only option that they have to pay their rent or their speeding ticket, their car payment, or emergency medical bill will be with cash. And so I'm with you. I see financial inclusion for unbanked payers, a major opportunity for payment processors over the next 5 to 10 years. If they can recognize the needs of these guys and help them, I think the merchants will appreciate what we're trying to do for including all types of payments for these merchants.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you added that. Victor, anything else before we wrap up?
I think 100% what Casey said. I think there's a difference between becoming a fully banked society to becoming a cashless society. I think cash will continue to play a role, a big role in our economy in 5, 10, 15 years, because it is a payment method that is preferred by a lot of customers, despite their access to credit cards or banking. I think that's an important difference to make between a fully banked society and the role of cash. I think the role of cash is definitely not going away. But the more digital tools, the more innovation we have, the easier we're going to make for those cash payers to participate in this digital economy, which we're all part of, right?
Right. Well, Casey, Victor, again, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you being on today.
You bet. Thank you.
Guys, take care.
Bye.